How does a nice smoothie with some berries and cacao sound like to you? Absolutely yummy and amazing. I know, I love these types of smoothies. It's even better if I told you that it's going to help with your daily stresses. That's right, this amazing smoothie with a combination of berries and cacao is going to help you combat your daily stresses. And it's all because of this little thing called resveratrol. And that is exactly what I'm going to be talking about in today's episode. I'm going to go deep into detail about what is resveratrol, how it can help you combat stress, and how you can include it in your everyday life so you can combat your stress. It's Mondays with Mihaela. That's right, me. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love, and appreciate your support. For anyone who's new to this YouTube video or audio version of the podcast, the Natural Health Podcast, my name is Mihaela. I'm a qualified naturopath with a passion for health, business, and overall success. I'm here on Mondays to provide you with simple, savvy, and sustainable health hacks to optimize your health. And that's exactly why we are talking about resveratrol today. I may not be pronouncing it right, but we're going to get the deal about what it is and how it can help you combat your stress. I'm so excited. Let's get straight into it and figure out what is resveratrol. Essentially, what it is a polyphenic bioflavonoid antioxidant, which is a plant compound and acts like an antioxidant. Okay, so we've heard about antioxidants a lot before, but this is on another level. Studies show that the most naturally abundant source of resveratrol are plants, including the skin of grapes, red grapes in particular, red wine, raw cacao, and dark berries, such as lingonberries, blueberries, mulberries, and bilberries, and peanuts and soy. Okay, and there's also this tea that has it, which is called Untitled tea, also has resveratrol. There's a number of herbs also that have it, but we're going to go into detail later. So essentially, this resveratrol was first isolated in 1939, and today the search for the word on Google, literally you get about 7 million results. So we can see how popular it is because a lot of people have heard about it. A lot of people want to know how it can help them, and I'm here to tell you how it's going to help you with your stress. So essentially, resveratrol is an activator of, I'm going to get a little bit sciencey, but I want to explain it at the end how it makes sense, so bear with me. So essentially, resveratrol is an activator of SIRT1, one of the mammalian forms of the serotonin family of proteins. This SIRT1 regulates the pathway affect metabolism, stress resistance, cell survival, cellular response, inflammation, immune function, endothelial function, and the circadian rhythm. Resveratrol has been shown to activate this pathway and therefore is predicted to benefit diseases affected by abnormal metabolic control, inflammation, cell cycle defect, endothelial function, stress resistance, metabolism, all those things that I mentioned. So if resveratrol can act on all of these act on this pathway, and this pathway affects all of these functions in our body, we can just imagine and think about what benefit it can bring to us every day. Okay, so what we've got here is so the way I'm going to talk about today's episode, I'm going to talk about resveratrol, like I said, but I'm also going to then talk about how it assists with certain diseases. And these diseases are usually induced by stress. And then I'm going to talk about how resveratrol helps with stress. So I'm going to talk about indirectly and directly how it helps out. So here we have a graph over here, right, which talks about resveratrol and how it can assist with cancer, neurological disorders, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and non-alcoholic fatty liver. Okay, so we know that a number of diseases are due to stress, indirectly or directly associated with stress. That is why resveratrol can assist with stress by assisting with these diseases, these injuries. But also resveratrol has its own pathway which you can directly assist with stress, and that's what you're going to get out of if you listen to the end at the end of the podcast. That's where I wrap it all up and it makes amazing sense. So let's look at how these diseases, let's look at these diseases and how resveratrol can actually help out with these. I want to start off with diabetes. We know someone who has diabetes, either type 1 or type 2. I'm pretty sure if I was sitting or standing in a room and I said to everyone, please stand up if you know someone who's affected by diabetes, I bet you about 80% of the individuals would stand up, because diabetes is absolutely huge in Australia. It's absolutely huge worldwide. And it's also found in children these days. The type 2 diabetes that I'm talking about, type 1 is already and has been, but type 2 is now found in children, which shows us what our environment is doing to our kids. They're getting it younger and younger. Okay, so diabetes affects, like I said, this is about 422 million people worldwide, with type 2 diabetes comprising 90% of those cases. Despite increasing understanding of this disease, the advancement in treatment in recent years, it hasn't done what it's supposed to do, unfortunately, and it actually breaks my heart. It actually breaks my heart to read this. It breaks my heart to read this, to know that 422 million people worldwide have diabetes, and 90% of that is type 2 diabetes. It just breaks my heart. Okay, so what the WHO World Health Organization is saying is that diabetes will be the 7th leading cause of death in 2030. That's 10 years away. That's 10 years away, saying that diabetes is going to be a huge cause of death worldwide. Resveratrol has been shown to improve glycemic control and have antioxidant properties in animal studies, and is therefore being investigated as a promising diabetes therapy. Because like I mentioned earlier, even though we've done so much studies and understanding how it is, the advancement in treatment hasn't advanced so much. When administered for 3 months at a dose of 250 milligrams per day, glycemic control and the associated risk factors were improved in patients with type 2 diabetes. Resveratrol decreased the mean hemoglobin A1C, the systolic blood pressure, low density lipocholesterol, total cholesterol, urine nitrogen, and total protein. That's what this study is saying. So this study essentially is saying that they're administered for 3 months resveratrol at 250 milligrams a day, and it showed that the glucose levels reduced, blood pressure reduced, the LDL-C reduced, total cholesterol reduced. That is huge. Some people need years and years and years of therapy, of medicine, to get these numbers. And this is done in 3 months with resveratrol. So when we are stressed, to make the link back to stress, when we are stressed, our insulin sensitivity goes all over the place, which puts us at a stage where we have a higher risk of getting type 2 diabetes. All right, so this is why and how resveratrol may be able to help with diabetes that is also stress-induced diabetes, that may be. And let's get into the next one, which is increased blood flow. Okay, when you even think about increased blood flow, when you put blood flow in places it hasn't been, blood brings with it nutrients. So if the blood brings with it nutrients, that means that, let's say for example, this finger here hasn't had blood flow for a while, and we're putting blood flow in it, it's going to be at an optimal level because it's going to have its function. Okay, because the blood is there, its nutrients are there with it. So in a 2010 study in American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, which was a randomized controlled trial with healthy subjects given 250, same as before, or 500 milligrams a day of resveratrol, cerebral blood flow was increased. This is amazing because improved blood flow is key. The nutrients go where they're supposed to be. So just something as simple as increasing your blood flow can assist you to live an optimal life, to be able to reduce your stress. The other one is a bit of a controversial one. I thought I'd put it in there. It's cancer. Okay, resveratrol has been shown in vitro and vivo to have chemopreventative and chemotherapeutic effects on cancer by targeting multiple pathways. Therefore, there's a lot of research being done as a promising anti-cancer agent. Resveratrol affects all 3 stages of cancer: initiation, promotion, and progression. Furthermore, resveratrol has been shown to directly induce the apoptotic pathways through several mechanisms. Apoptotic is key for the cells to die that are damaged. Resveratrol is a powerful antioxidant that neutralizes free radicals. Free radical damage is an accelerator due to poor lifestyle habits. Free radicals can damage cells that are may be the cause of cancer. That's still in theory out there, but is part of it, okay, which causes to earlier death, unfortunately, or lowered lifestyle quality of life. It's believed the mechanism for cancer-protecting activities involves the downregulation of the inflammatory response through inhibition of synthesis and release of pro-inflammatory mediators, among other activities. So with the lifestyle that a lot of us in the Western world are living, we're causing a lot of free radical damage in our body. This is saying that resveratrol may be able to assist with that, to ensure that our cells are healthy and therefore don't go towards the pathway of becoming a cancer cell. The other one is cognitive health. We all want better cognitive health. Even now, if our cognitive health isn't optimal, we're like, oh my gosh, what's the next thing that I can take? What's the next thing that I can do for my brain to be absolutely amazing? Okay. Neurological disorders such as Alzheimer's disease and stroke are thought to occur via oxidation and inflammation, damage to the central nervous system. As resveratrol has been shown to have a strong anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effect, many have hypothesized that resveratrol could be a useful potential treatment for neurological disease. And I'm going to get a bit of science in now. Additional resveratrol is known to modulate the activities of these certain pathways and enzymes is AMPK, SIRT1, which I spoke about earlier, and PGC1 alpha, metabolic regulators, which have been shown to be involved in the onset of neurological disorders. So resveratrol works on all these pathways, works on all these enzymes to assist us to be at an optimal level. You know, even if we are stressed, it's able to balance all that out. So in this instance, clinical trials suggest that resveratrol is effective in reducing biomarkers associated with Alzheimer's disease and brain ischemic stroke, and exhibited sufficient bioavailability at a dosage without any extreme adverse action. And this is a key thing, because a number of things that individuals may be taking when they have neurological disorders may be giving them side effects which they really don't want. And this study has found out that resveratrol is not going to give you those side effects, or if it does give you any, it's minimal. Thus, they provide a rationale for further testing for resveratrol in further clinical trials and for studying the effectiveness of treating other neurological disorders. So watch this space, because this is going to boom, resveratrol in regards to cognitive health. The number one killer in the United States, which everyone always talks about, is heart disease, cardiovascular disease. Absolutely, it's similar to diabetes. Like I said to you, if I stood in a room and I said, if you have it or know someone stand up, please do. 95% of individuals will stand up. Our heart is important. It needs to work properly. It needs to function properly. Therefore, we don't want heart disease. We want to minimize the risk of getting heart disease. So the World Health Organization reports that globally, more people die each year from cardiovascular disease than any other cause. And that saddens me. That absolutely saddens me. Because of its anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties, resveratrol has been suggested to promote cardiovascular health and has therefore been extensively studied as a treatment for preventive cardiovascular disease. Resveratrol has been shown to affect multiple targets that are associated with cardioprotective effects. For example, resveratrol has been shown to promote endothelial function, which may help prevent atherosclerosis and coronary artery disease. A study performed by Mihaela found that treatment with resveratrol improved left ventral systolic and diastolic function, so assisting the brain function assisting the heart function to function the way it's supposed to function, the way a heart is made to function. So in addition to that, what it's also saying is that resveratrol improved flow-mediated dilation, which when impaired causes endothelial dysfunction. So preventing endothelial dysfunction is one of the key things. The treatment also inhibited platelet aggregation and increased low-density lipoproteins, cholesterol levels. These results suggest that resveratrol may be useful in treating coronary artery disease. And a lot of individuals, when, how many CEOs do you know, or business owners, who are so stressed to the max that now they unfortunately have heart issues? I can name a few, 100%. A number of individuals have heart issues due to high stress jobs, high stress lifestyles, high stress everything, okay? And then on that note, I'm pretty sure you know someone who's obese, or you are. So these are the things that we have to deal with. We're living in a modern world: obesity, heart disease, diabetes, but we don't have to have them. These are the things that I'm here to talk to you about. I'm here to educate. I'm here to inspire. I'm here to talk about these things to ensure that you don't have to come back from your doctor and tell your loved ones that you have obesity, that you have heart disease, that you have cancer. We don't want this. This is why we need to implement the right things that are simple, savvy, and sustainable every single day. Okay, let's talk about obesity. Findings from animal studies have found that resveratrol exerts beneficial effects on rats fed a high-calorie diet, helping prevent fat storage and regulating insulin levels. And this can also assist with the diabetes that we spoke about earlier. Other research has shown that resveratrol may help reduce body weight and fat around the belly in obese animals, which some experts believe is due to activating the SIRT1 gene, which we spoke about earlier, that pathway, that gene that's believed to protect the body against the effect of obesity. This data points to the potential possibility of use of resveratrol in preventing and or treating both obesity and diabetes. So, isn't all that interesting? That, to me, after I did this research and I looked more into it, I knew resveratrol was amazing, but reading this now, I'm like, wow, I need to have resveratrol every single day in my diet. How do I do that? Okay, so we're going to talk about that soon. But before we get into that, the whole point about this podcast is to talk about stress and resveratrol. So now that we understand how resveratrol can assist with obesity, cancer, cognitive health, blood flow, cardiovascular disease, and diabetes, which are all indirect or direct causes of stress, let's look at how it can actually help out stress. Favorite word, favorite topic: stress. On a biochemical level, various disturbances occur during periods of chronic stress, such as hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis dysfunction, HPA dysfunction, high levels of stress hormone, elevated levels of inflammatory enzymes. The HPA axis is a communication network between parts of the brain and the important hormone secreting glands in our body. The communication regulates our stress response, and I've spoken about stress on so many podcasts. If you want to know more, binge watch, binge listen to my podcast, and you'll get a better understanding of stress and the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. So, a study published in Neuropsychiatric Disease and Treatment 2017 revealed that resveratrol ameliorates chronic stress-induced HPA axis hyperactivity and lowers cholesterol, the stress hormone level. Just in saying that, we can see that if we include resveratrol in our life, in our diet on a regular basis, this is going to reduce our cholesterol. So let's take that CEO that's stressed out to the max, that has high levels of cortisol, that has a HPA dysfunction, but them introducing resveratrol types of foods into their diet on a regular basis, it lowers their cholesterol. So for any of them who's sitting out there saying that food does not change our biochemistry in our body, you must be kidding yourself. Of course it does. It changes our biochemistry of our body. It changes our pathways. It makes us who we are. Another study in the animal models also have confirmed that the polyphenols lower stress hormone levels and support neuroplasticity as a part of its antidepressant actions in chronic stress-like conditions. So we know a lot of individuals who are stressed also have either anxiety, depression, or any other mental, I don't even know what I would call it, mental disorder, something along those lines, chronic stress-like conditions, we shall call them like that. So this is saying that the polyphenols found in resveratrol lowers the stress hormone, which is cortisol, and supports neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is key for us to live an optimal life, for us to memorize, for us to be able to share our vision with everyone out there. Neuroplasticity is key. And you know what? I might do actually a podcast on neuroplasticity itself. So it may also counteract the down effects of the stress and other aspects of health, such as disturbances in metabolic health, insulin resistance, testicular dysfunction, neuroinflammation, and any of the ones that I've mentioned above. Okay, resveratrol, which has been linked to a number of health benefits in a compound. So resveratrol is found in the skin and seeds of grapes and berries. In the seeds and skin of grapes and berries. While research has identified resveratrol to have antidepressant effect, the compound's relationship to, I'll call it PDE4, which has a long name, an enzyme influenced by the stress hormone corticosteroid, was unknown. So corticosteroid 1 regulates the body's response to stress. Too much stress, however, can lead to excessive amounts of this hormone circulating in our brain, in our body, ultimately development of depression, other mental disorders, and stress. Okay. For their study, the team used lab mice on which they showed that PDE4 in the brain was influenced by the excess cortisol release as a stress response. This led to anxiety and depression-related symptoms in the mice. They explained that the PDE4 is capable of lowering the cyclic adenosine monophosphate, or CAMP, in the brain, which is the messenger that causes signaling of several psychological processes, including cell division, movement of and death within our body. Alteration of PDE4 and CAMP in the brain leads to alterations in the structure of the brain. Okay, the team found that the compound of resveratrol could help reverse the effects and show a neuroprotective effect on the brain by working against the damage caused by cortisol, caused by stress. So essentially, we live in a very stressful environment. We have stress coming left, right, and center. You know what? Even eating food is a stressor to our body. Exercising it is a stressor to our body. Someone screaming, loud noise is a stressor to us. Toxins around us inhaling paint is a stressor to us. It's not just work stress. There's so many stresses out there. So if something as simple as resveratrol can assist to reduce the effects that stress does to our body, which in most cases is negative, then why would we not include this in our diet? It would make absolutely make sense. And like I started the podcast, I said to you, doesn't a blueberry cacao smoothie sound absolutely amazing to you? It does. It absolutely does. And knowing that this cacao blueberry smoothie can help you with diabetes, cardiovascular disease, cancer, insulin sensitivity, your stress, your obesity, that is just mind-blowing. You don't see that anymore as just a smoothie, a blueberry and cacao smoothie. You see this as health. You see this smoothie as optimal health, and you see this smoothie as something that is going to benefit you and yourselves. Okay, so let's get into the most exciting part. Okay, how can you include this in your everyday? So Mihaela, how do I make sure I have resveratrol in my everyday to ensure that I'm able to do this? Well, first of all, I would say talk to your medical professional, talk to a health professional that you're working with to ensure that this is the right thing to include in your diet. It's the right thing to include depending on what medication you're on, what your individualized plan is. Essentially, what I do is I eat berries. Okay, I've mentioned a number of berries to talk about. I eat berries on a regular basis, probably every single day. Now, the thing is, right, berries in Australia are pretty expensive. They are not pretty expensive, they are dramatically expensive, right? So a kilo of berries would be, $25, and that is organic blueberries. So the thing is, these berries have to be organic because the resveratrol is found on the skin of the berries. And what happens to non-organic berries? Well, they get sprayed. What do they get sprayed with? Toxic compounds. So you are actually not getting the benefits. If anything, you're putting more harm in your body. You're doing more harm by your body, thinking you might be going off this podcast and being like, oh my gosh, I'm going to include berries every day. This is amazing. This is the best thing ever. But unless they're organic, you're not going to get those benefits. You need to ensure that these berries are organic. Okay, so include blueberries for this instance in your everyday. Make sure they are organic. I usually get the frozen organic berries. They're always in the freezer all the time. I actually make sure that I have them always in my trolley. They have to be in the trolley. They're absolutely amazing. And paying that extra amount for organic and for berries, I know my health is going to thank me. I know that. Okay, the other thing is grapes. Okay, same as berries. Please make sure that this is organic because the resveratrol is found on the skin of the grapes. Therefore, it is key that these are organic. Cacao, absolutely love it. So my favorite is a cacao blueberry smoothie. Oh my gosh, I think I'm just going to make one like after I record this podcast. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the texture. I love the taste. I love the sensation. I love the flavor of the bitterness of the cacao and then the sweetness of the blueberries. It just makes an absolutely amazing treat. Absolutely amazing. Oh, yes. Just thinking about it, I'm like, I want one right now. But then also thinking about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is helping me with diabetes, helping me with obesity, helping me with my stress, my cortisol, reducing that. It's doing all those things in my body. So I'm like, I'm actually going to triple enjoy this smoothie. The other thing, number 4, I'll give you a little one, is Japanese knotweed, and that's usually found in supplements, which is high in resveratrol. So look, there you have it. I have given you 3 different types of foods that you can include in your diet right now to increase your level of resveratrol in your body. Okay, so these are the things that you can include: blueberries, berries, organic, grapes, organic. Cacao, also organic, because it could have so many minerals in it. So many toxic minerals in it, which could cause harm, and heavy metals. It could be mixed in. So resveratrol not only helps you with your stress, however, assists with the byproducts of stress, what stress is actually doing, which initially reduces your level of stress at the start. So essentially, if we're taking resveratrol in our body, we're not only reducing the stress, however, if we do have any of those diseases that I spoke about earlier, it's going to help out with that too, which is also going to help out with the stress. So it's like, I'm getting help here, but I'm also getting help here. It's like absolutely amazing. Get some resveratrol in your diet right now. Look, we've come to the end of this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Absolutely love it. Appreciate your support. Love, like, share, rate, do what you do best. Absolutely love your support. Spread the message about resveratrol and get everyone onto it. Get your partner onto it, your family members, your mum, dad, your kids. Absolutely amazing. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do what you do best. Love, like, share. Until next Monday, love you.